Hey guys, Infidel1258 here. In this video, I'm going to unlock some stats and some data that's going to help us understand which cards are working really well for me right now and why. And it comes from an app and a partnership that's new to this channel through SPLINTERCOACH. That's the name of the website, and you can visit it and you can get your data tracked so that you can understand how you're winning or how you're losing in Splinterlands. It's an amazing app and we're going to talk about it. It's the first ever partnership that I've had on this channel and it just fits. I've had lots of people offer me money to talk about their product, but it was never something that made sense, never something that was related to this space, never something that I enjoyed. And this one is something I enjoy and something that I think is going to be both entertaining plus powerful in its usefulness and utility for unlocking more wins and therefore more rewards for your time and attention. So stick around, watch me enjoy the app, see what you think. I think you're going to see in this that it's both fun and helpful. So stick around, stay tuned, like and subscribe. And special thank you to SPLINTERCOACH. Check them out, guys. The link will be in the description. So first and foremost, I talked about this like 2 weeks ago, just before May. I talked about how there was a partnership coming to the channel. And I didn't want to get into too much of it because I didn't know how much of it I should reveal. At that time I didn't, but I've been, since we've set a date for like an official launch. This video will be released on the 15th of May, which is May 15th, Monday. And yeah, I am enjoying this app. It's like a brand new thing, but it comes from the creative genius of Geeked Out Basketball and some of his partners. And Geeked Out Basketball is a content creator on YouTube also who does Splinterlands content, so check him out. And he does these 5 and 9s where you'll see him analyze and try and analyze battles and try and win 5 battles in 9 opportunities. And I enjoy the content, and I enjoyed the content before we I guess got together for this partnership. But he's got this cool series, 10 cards that simply win, or even 10 cards that simply lose. You can check them out on his channel, and he's using the data. He's using SPLINTERCOACH. Let's have a peek at it. SPLINTERCOACH is the app or the website that we're looking at here, and you partner using your Hive keychain, and then you're going to have access to tracking your data. There is relatively inexpensive monthly fees, like literally pennies for a month for certain data tracking, and more for more services. And I'm loving it. So as a kid, I used to collect cards, whether it was Marvel cards or superhero cards or even hockey cards, and just looking at this data and the stats, I would spend hours, dozens of hours, hundreds of hours, in fact, with cousins and friends, and we just look at, who was better, Mario Lemieux or Gretzky, who was better, Spider-Man or Wolverine, who would win if they were to play head to head today or fight head to head in this like fictional universe. And the data has always been something I've enjoyed, and I love Splinterlands. I've been playing it for years. Now this is like a partnership of both. Not only can I look at like my my prior battles and look and try and learn from what has been happening lately. My rank is here, and earlier last season it might have been higher, and okay, I can try and learn from that. I can check out which battles I lose. But now with SPLINTERCOACH, I can actually see which monsters and summoners are specifically winning for me. I don't mean anonymized data. I mean personalized data that is going to tell me how I play with each of these cards. And some of them are surprising, man. Like, that's the cool thing. Like, I turned this thing on and Kelia was getting smacked. I see every time I face Kelia, I feel like I lose. Every time the opponent drops a Kelia on me. And then the other day I turn on this app and I start tracking my data, and I'm using Kelia. I go 1 and 8. And so I've literally 5 and 0 in the last say 12 hours with Kelia. But what's going on there? And this app can not only point out anomalies like that, like which summoners am I playing the most. Look at this, I got 15 battles with Conquer Yasuke, but I'm 5 and 10 with him. Maybe I need to stop playing the guy, or reanalyzing how I'm using it. Kelly Frindle, like I said, out to a bad start. Certain summoners are a bit surprising too, just for their proficiency. Astral Entity 7 and 1. Yesterday it was 4 and 0, and then 6 and 0, and first loss came today. Immortalis 6 and 2. This is a card I've been sleeping on, I think, and I think maybe we are our community might be still sleeping on Immortalis. I saw yesterday, after I after I turned on this data tracking, like in the last couple days, I've been looking at how Astral Entity and Immortalis are really, really potent. And more so than some of these cards. Like look at Archmage Arius, which is like one of the most rare, most expensive, and, you know, probably coveted summoners from, at least from the older, like Wild League. Thing is, you know, statistically speaking, seems amazing, seems impervious, seems so powerful with the +1 melee, archery, and magic. But, you know, a pretty mediocre 4 and 3. Anytime you can pull a winning rate, that's great. 4 and 3 is awesome. But like compared to Immortalis and even Quixodevious, which are so much cheaper, Astral Entity, which is a crazy amount cheaper, Grandmaster Wraith 5 and 1, Drake Arnak 3 and 0, Drake Arnak, like these cards are dirt cheap. Lily 3 and 0. So, you know what's going on there to make certain cards, certain summoners, so much more effective. Like we can click on, let's click on Archmage Arius. Let's see what sort of partnerships are happening. So I've got a 571 rating with them, and this is a rental card. I don't own this card, but the question is, should I keep renting it? I'm paying 400 DEC a day right now to rent this thing, and this is sparking, okay, like I just showed you 5 or 6 different summoners, I think 3 of which were Dragon, Lily, Shieldpaw, Drake of Arnak. I think there might have been, oh yeah, and Quixodevious. That's 3 different Dragon summoners I've already got that I own that I don't need to spend 400 DEC a day on. And so maybe this is time to stop. Maybe this data is revealing something to me that can help me change my pattern of play to, if not win more effectively with fewer outlays, right? Because I'm paying, you know, 40 cents a day to hold this thing, and times a month, that's 12 bucks a month. You know, what could I do with that DEC? What other cards might I rent that really might move the needle? And this data is opening my eyes to some of this stuff. I really think this sort of stuff is fun to look at, but then I'm shocked by the utility, by, you know, like I say, informing me of what might be an unnecessary rental in this instance. And it gives you the most played cards, like the ones I'm using. These are not anonymized data across the broad, you know, system of players using this, the website. This is Dwayne Cunningham's Infidel 1258. I'm losing on the Archmage Arius 0 and 3 when I use the Ruz. Longtail is a good partner, as you can imagine, with the 2. He's got the melee and the magic, so it just makes sense because he's getting the double buff. Then Oshur is such a great partner, probably in some sense because it partners really well with Longtail, and any blast damage is going to get erased by that, by the reflection shield, and the Resurrect is going to bring Longtail back, who has void armor, and therefore even when he has 1 hit point, he's going to have 7 hit points when he spawns. So this partnership makes a lot of sense. I'm really astonished this guy is almost seemingly holding back Archmage Arius. I don't know what's going on there. Same with Chimera Princess. For 2 mana, this is such a powerful card. And coming soon, I've been talking with Geeked Up Basketball about the app and just giving my feedback. And we were talking about maybe in the next month or so, incorporating some of the generalized anonymized data from the user base that's using the tool. So what that would mean is, okay, this is how Dwayne plays with Archmage Arius, but how about the top 5 cards that are out there that are being played with this summoner, and what are those best win rates? So what are the 5 cards that have the highest win rate with Archmage Arius? That's going to be coming soon. And yeah, let's go back and look at Astral Entity. Why is this one winning so much? 7 and 1. Dr. Blight. You know what I think this is? At least when I've been, the one thing I can recall that I've done 2 or 3 times, maybe even 4 times, is you can see here, weaken, with the Undead Priest, weaken, with the Dr. Blight, weaken, plus there's a redemption here and a redemption here, and we got a resurrect on the Astral Entity. So in those like 20 to 25 mana matches, I'm using this card to great effect. And we can look at more than just what 5 cards is it working with. You can see the mana cap distribution. So if you want to see, like, watch, I bet if we look at the 20 to 29, 2 and 0. We look at 12 to 19, we didn't try it that low. What about the 30? 2 and 0 with the 30 to, so between 20 to 39 mana, it's 4 and 0. One more there. We want any of the big boys? Haven't tried it in the highest mana. Have an oak, like a above average. So like between 20 and 60 mana, this thing has been working. And it's 7 and 1. But this is right here, what you're looking at most played with is essentially the redemption, you know, I'm going to call it redemption cheese, where you're looking at the redemption ability and the resurrect, and you're weakening everybody so that 1 redemption, 2 redemptions, 3 redemptions, and there's actually a 4th redemption you can put there. I say 4 because there's a res, right? So there's 3 cards I own that have redemption: Alchemist, Slime Ball, and there's a magic card. I forget what it is. It's a 2 or 3 mana magic card. Plus there's double weakens. This play also works with a couple of the other Death Splinter summoners, such as Thaddeus. Let's see if the Thaddeus partnership looks similar. See again, weaken, Alchemist, Slime Ball. Those are those partners. But here we go, because we've lost, and there's a weaken here too, right, with the Thaddeus. But something about probably the resurrect alone, the 2 mana differential between Thaddeus and the other summoner there, Astral Entity, seems to really be worth it, because for an extra 2 mana in your summoner, you're getting 1 more redemption out of the Slime Ball, and that is enough to end up winning the battle. Plus Dr. Blight gets 1 more hit point for that resurrected creature when it goes down. And so Dr. Blight's pretty pivotal in this playstyle. There's things that, so those are things that I guess I knew Astral Entity was good. I guess I knew that redemption play was good. I didn't know it was this effective. I didn't know it was one of the main ways I'm winning, and like so very rarely losing. I thought Selenia Sky, again, just like I said about Archimage Arias, I'm renting a Selenia Sky. I'm paying 100 DEC a day. The question is it worth it? Maybe not. DC's been tight lately. I'm trying to, you know, stretch my dollar, and this tool has been pointing me to some things where I maybe have an opportunity to stop paying for something so that I can pay for a new item that might really help. And here's one more thing that surprised me, really surprised me. I've been realizing this over the last 2 weeks or so. I'm lucky enough to have some of the higher level Soulbound summoners. Helios or Matriarch, I have at level 6. So as a rare summoner, I have it at level 6. That means it's like a gold league level. I can play it, of course, in Diamond and Champion, and I do. And as you can see, man, in Diamond and Champion, this thing still wins. That's a strong win rate. The Gladiator capacity is Bloodlust is so meaningful. And right here, you can see what's going on. Lower mana matches, utilizing specifically Kitrubba with a double strike, and the speed buff is certainly very helpful from Helios. Helios is great because she's like the one that's going to be partnered with any of the splinters if I want, but really I'm using it almost exclusively with the green splinter. And then Vraz comes into play too, because you get the martyr, and if you can martyr up with Kitrubba, that gets juicy real fast. This is one I've been seeing a lot, and even though I'm only at a gold league level with my Helios, it works. And so I don't know where you guys are at with those summoners, but those Soulbound summoners are like, introducing Bloodlust via your summoner is a real like a powerful new way to win. Like I think it's going to change the game. I think when we all have those summoners, or when they're far more prolific or common, I think we are going to see them being part of the meta. Probably right now they aren't, because you know, many people who want that card probably don't have that card. It's going to come down to, at this moment in time, it's probably coming down to luck and how much you play. And I play at a higher level, so I've gotten more chests, and therefore I have more opportunities for multiple cards within a chest. And so many of you aren't going to have that card at level 6. And if you do, great. I think maybe start using it, especially if you have that Kitrubba. But yeah, Bloodlust is a real winner. And I think if we look, it's cool to do the, like, I could spend hours subdividing too. Like, the interesting thing is these are the most played summoners by me, and then these are the ones with the most wins, and then this is the ones with the most win percentage. And you know, you get into something like this with Malric 1-0, sure, but it's like a one play. Like, you know, is that replicable? It's not going to win every game. Shield Paw, I think, probably deserves to be put in the rotation more based on this. Same with Drake of Arnak. You know, probably it's situational for Drake to be to be running that show that way, but man, interesting. Looks like I'm playing it in the lower mana matches, just giving that armor, just in the same way that Iris from the white team ends up being really annoying, because your little monsters that only have 4 hit points, 3 hit points, 5 hit points, well, now they actually have 1 armor that stops a major blow from finishing them. And so, you know, even the chicken ends up getting 2 hits when you add an armor on it. And by the time you get to my damage dealers, let's say this was the team, you go chicken, shadowy presence in the 2nd position, undead in the 3rd, skeletal assassin, and then naga, and maybe there's even 1 more sneak attack monster in there, Vruz, or you know, you could do Vruz for 2, you could do a neutral sneak attack monster. There's lots of different cool options. You're getting the inspire and the strengthen bonus plus the armor, and suddenly, because of the strengthen bonus, because of the armor, all of these little minions end up being actually far more cumbersome for your opponent to deal with, and therefore your sneak gets that much more time to play and do what it needs to do. But again, we can see I can see by these ones, I mostly play it in the I mostly play it in the lower mana caps. I bet it's like 20 or 30. See, 1 there. 12 to 19. Interesting. So 12 to 19 and 20 to 30 is where I've played that. But let's see what kind of rule sets. I bet what's the one where armor, weak magic. Be great to see. He's asked for feedback at this moment. Like, it's just Splintercoach is just getting started, so he's asked for feedback, and I'm seeing right now that, you know, it'd be nice to see, in addition to the word weak magic, it'd be nice to see that little logo, because some of us are going to identify the image that is given, and some of us are going to recognize the name. Weak magic is one of the 3 wins, because that 1 extra armor is going to absorb a full magic strike. But again, you know, you could go in as granular as you want, as you know, rule sets, mana cap, overall is kind of the 30,000 foot view. Who's winning and how much, lifetime versus current month. Love that too. If you maybe you pick up a new card and you want to see the current month data as opposed to, you know, what happened 6 months ago when the meta was totally different, right? And then it's not just summoners, it's monsters too, and you can see played the most. Crustacean King wins the most. Dr. Blight 13 and 7. Oh, that card's so good. Win percentage 5. Again, win percentage can be a little deceiving because I've only started tracking recently. It'll be interesting to see the win percent evolve as we do this for weeks, and we're going to be partnering for a couple months here. So 3 months of this stuff, we'll be seeing more of this content, more of me analyzing how I'm winning and why. And I think this is going to lead into conversations around what are the undervalued cards. Like I alluded to earlier, I think really there is a conversation around, are we sleeping on things like Lily Shieldpaw, Astral Entity? You know, I don't think anybody's, you know, Grandmaster Race and Immortalis and even Quixotic. Like, I mean, I know those summoners are not crazy expensive. They're not, like, nothing is, they aren't free, but man, they are powerful. And Quicks, wow, you can get a max Quicks for $150, I bet. Right there, $130 for a Quixodevious. An amazing card. This used to be 20 plus per BCX. It's a 4 mana legendary. It's got the speed manipulation, which is, in my opinion, the core of the meta within the conversation of the Splinterlands right now. Secondly, the archery is nice. It's not necessarily as impactful as this, but the 4 cost is a gigantic bonus because many good summoners are 5, 6, 7, and so yeah, the 4 is extra monsters on the field. The speed is great, and it's relatively cheap. Then you got Shieldpaw over here, you know, about $50 more for a max copy, maybe $60 more. But I like Shieldpaw a lot in certain contexts. Again, same win rates so far from my data. Astral Entity crushing it, only $12 a BCX. And look at this one's got 5 at $12.25. You know, depending on what league level you're playing at. I mean, I think this card is better than people recognize. Immortalis is one where it's better than I recognized. And actually, I've been, since Immortalis launched, I think the first video I talked about Immortalis, I was saying how I thought it was really underwhelming. And I talked about why. Like, I mean, I want more damage output, not like resiliency exactly. Plus the shatter ends up being interesting. Like on the surface, you would think would be irrelevant because I'm going to be playing magic. There's a strong magic team with the green team. So then why do I care about shatter? It just comes in handy so often. It's actually really, really helpful when, especially when you're using cards like, what's this guy here, Runemancer Flore, because the magic fires first, and it hits the core, it hits the heart and cracks the armor, and then the armor follows up and hits the cracked, right? Because the armor is now gone. So stuff like that happens, but which makes, I think Runemancer Flore, actually, if we go back to Splintercoach, we look at how Immortalis wins. I bet Runemancer Flore is one of the top 5 characters played. And at every level it wins. I bet that's one of the core cards. I'm playing it at higher levels. So let's see. There she is. And as I'm watching this, I'm recognizing where I thought there was power, or I'm trying to understand why I'm winning, right? That's what I'm trying to do. And as I look at it, I'm like, okay, it must be this. And then you find out it's not equalizer, equal opportunity. I thought it was, yeah, okay, I went 1-1. But I thought that was one of the core ways I was winning. And of course it's not. I've somehow, one of these rule sets is really pivotal. And knowing which one, and the data is here, I just need to find it. But knowing which one would translate to me having a greater understanding of how to win with Immortalis. It is winning, but knowing how it's winning is the path where I'm going to then, I'm going to be able to, close range. Yeah, maybe. I'm going to be able to replicate it, right? And I'm going to know, I'm not just going to be stumbling into a good line. I'm going to be executing it intentionally and intelligently. So I maximize the number of wins. Looks like it's kind of a little bit of this, a little bit of that for Immortalis. So it really is being versatile. So let's go away from rule set and let's look at mana cap. I bet we're winning in those. It's not the low ones. Watch 0. Yep. Not these ones either, I bet. Okay, 1-1. 1-0. So the real, it's in these big boy mana caps. Even bigger? Oh, there you go. 4-1 at 50 to 60. And then I bet another couple here over here. Okay. 50 to 60 and 20 to 29 were kind of where the plays were happening. That's pretty versatile. From 20 to 29 means that it's kind of the lower mana matches you can make it happen still. And that's in part because green team has cards like Chimera Princess as well as Failed Summoner, Brownie, Creeping Ooze, lots of low mana monsters, and then even cards like Queen Mycelia to give you the amplify damage on the Magic Reflect from your Failed Summoner tank. And then you could put in maybe the there's another tank healer, magic tank healer. So lots of really great options on the green team that can work with Immortalis, and several different silences too, which really help because of that void. But again, oh man, I love it. I could talk about this, and I'm going to come back to this, and I want to sit down with Geeked Up Basketball, and I also want to talk with Jim about this, and anybody who comes on the channel to try and check in with them about what they see the power of a tool like this might be, because I'm convinced that this is, well, it is entertaining, period, but I'm convinced it's going to be a powerful tool as I explore this stuff more and more, and then learn from what the data is revealing, how I'm winning, when I'm winning in certain rule sets or in certain mana caps, and what partnerships are really working, so that becomes instinctual and not accidental. I want to know, what 10 cards are really working, what 5 rule sets are optimized. And when I have that up here, because I've seen it through the exploration of data, I'm going to win more and extract greater reward for that time and attention. So I'm happy to be partnering with Splintercoach for the next 3 months, and we'll be featuring them And I'll be doing stuff like this, deep dives on how I'm winning, revising, and commenting on how the data is evolving over the next 90 days. In addition to that, I'll be using it to try and reflect into the marketplace and see where the deals are. Like I said, with Quixodevious, he's winning, and yet he's so affordable. As we compare Quixodevious in particular to some of the other summoners, and you go away from a legendaries, I said it's 123 for a max level Quix, but even crappy summoners like General Sloan. I mean, I like Sloan, don't get me wrong, but even that's at 65 bucks. So I'm saying, would you rather have a dragon that wins, you know, most of, or in my case, all of the battles he plays, or a life Splinter summoner that maybe you could get Quid Yuff? Did you get Quid? You could get Quid Yuff and General Sloan. I mean, I might do that if I didn't have a white summoner and a red summoner. But this is the sort of conversation that begins when you have data on which to stand upon. There's a foundation of data that shows you Quix wins. Or sorry, yeah, Quixodevious wins. And then I'm like, okay, well, what does that guy cost me? It's like, oh, he doesn't cost me very much. I wonder if it makes sense to, like, what are the comparables? What could I do with 130 bucks? I could buy Quixodevious and go 5 and 2, which is a great a record. Or maybe I buy, let's see, General Sloan. I bet he's all, look at General Sloan 0 and 1, and Quid Yuff. I don't have any plays with him, but probably Quid Yuff would be down there too. If you have a really bad deck and you don't have anything available yet, and you're still building out, and you want, you know, a new red summoner and a new white summoner, okay, I get it. You'd probably want cheapies because you need to stretch your dollar. But if you have a halfway decent deck and you want more effectiveness or more bang for your buck, then you start looking at guys like Quixodevious, or maybe even Quixodevious, Immortalis, Astral Entity was really inexpensive, or Lily Shieldpaw, or maybe surprisingly Drake of Arnak. Now I know some of those are going to be playable only in the Wild League, but yeah, powerful stuff. 128 bucks, same as the Quix. So I'd go Quixodevious for sure over Drake of Arnak. But this is the sort of thing I want to be doing in the coming weeks, talking about the data, having fun with it. And I hope you'll stick around for this one. And please drop by Splintercoach, let them know that we said hello or we sent you. And yeah, I think you'll enjoy and find a lot of value in this service. And definitely go check out Geeked Out Basketball, and another amazing content creator for Splinterlands. Guys, I'm going to leave it there. Thanks so much for your time and attention. I hope you have an amazing day. God bless.